There was a time, not so long ago, when I was completely convinced that I was the best at everything. My perspectives were naive, my ambition was big, but my ego was bigger. Whether it was on the football field or in the studio with my first band, I believed that it was all about my goals, my achievements, and me being the limelight. But life, being its usual harsh teacher, put up a wall. On that football field, I realized that the team isn't going to succeed with such a selfish star. In the band, it meant that the music could not come alive if I was the only one that mattered. Now, we've all hit these walls before. Times we think we're chasing a goal, a trophy, a record deal. But life plays this magnificent head fake on us. It's not about the goal, but it's about the lesson. To me, the lesson was about leadership and the perspectives I had, thinking I was just learning to play a game or make music. But in reality, it was about learning how to deal with myself. Now, this first lesson hit me hard again in some relationships. I realized I was constantly suffering because I made assumptions. I assumed I knew what others were thinking. My inner critic, what Timothy Galway in his book, The Inner Game of Tennis, calls the self-one, a constant voice filling in blanks with judgment and criticism. Then, a wise family friend, author, and PR consultant named Scott Cronick offered me some incredible advice. He emphasized the old saying, God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth. Use it in that ratio. Now, perhaps we often think of this as a simple rule for listening. Believe me when I tell you, it is a practical tool for quieting that inner self, that self-one in every one of us. Because when we truly listen without assuming, we give ourselves to our compassionate, intuitive self an opportunity to understand the situation and take action. Well, to take action. When we absorb information without taking things personally or assuming, which is what Don Miguel Ruiz mentioned in his book, The Four Agreements, we tend to exist in a calmer state of mind as well, which then lets me personally to develop my relationships with friends, family, and even strangers. So each day I take a moment to remind myself, not to make assumptions throughout the day, but instead to let myself spiral out and keep going. But Scott's advice didn't just stop there. He also advised me to be generous, pay it forward, and help those in need. Now, I came to realize that true leadership isn't about taking, but giving. In the football team, I realized on that pitch I had to pass the ball, assist goals, instead of trying to dribble the entire team. In the band, it meant collaborating, listening to each other's suggestions, whether it was a brand new song we wanted to play, or a slight tweak to how we were already playing one. Now, this idea of being generous plays an important part of, again, that inner game. It shifts our focus from our own set of skills to the success of a collective. Now, it's already a pretty cool reference to Randy Pausch's message about living a purposeful life in his book, The Last Lecture. Because I realized that my purpose wasn't simply to be a rock star, but instead it was to guide and lead a band to achieve something bigger collectively. When we are generous with our time and effort, we're present in the moment and less focused on our own ego. Finally, Scott's third piece of advice. This is important because he told me to take risks, to put yourself out there, and make an effort to make your life better than it is now. An ultimate lesson from all the past experiences: risk being seen less as perfect, risk giving up control in band, and risk listening to others in some relationships. But each time I made the decision to risk being the supposed best, the outcome was an enlightening lesson that taught me not to only open my mind, but to step out of my comfort zone to become the better version of myself. To be also impeccable with my word, speak with integrity, and avoid such toxic words that go against yourself or others that's stopping you from growing. So, as you go home today, take a moment to really listen to that inner critic of yours. Don't fight it. Instead, absorb the information it's giving you. Find your own head fake. Because sometimes it may all feel like a pointless game, but you have to remember that it's all about listening. Being generous instead of taking it all. And take risks to always do your best and make your life better than it is now, which is the final agreement that Don mentions in his book, The 4 Agreements. So spiral out and keep going.